says rotate your phone. We've got a problem because it means it's going to be upside down. This is going
I can't position it any other way, so.
Okay. Your phone has to be upside. It says rotate your phone. We've got a problem.
Well, at least it's clear. It's whatever it's doing.
It's clear.
So it's okay now. Okay, so you're waiting for me.
Are we on?
No, he's waiting for me. I'm delaying. Okay. I say with all these things, honestly. This is a novice.
Good evening, people. We have no music, so we're not gonna play any music. But we're here and we're gonna talk about inspiring women to be able to get into political positions. It's been quite a while. And I want to say hello to everyone. And I'm sorry, people said they've missed me. I've missed them too. And I've got a guest. My guest is Angela. How do you want to be known?
I'm Angela. Yes, Angela. Now Amerley.
Now Amerley. Angela now Amerley. She's Melanin. You call yourself Melanin on Facebook.
Now Melanin. Another how can I say, alias for singing.
Oh, you sing? Woo.
I have many faces.
She sings, people. So she'll be singing at my wedding.
Oh, okay. You gotta do.
Yeah. What do you sing, though?
Everything.
Wow. Everything. Do you sing classical?
It's been a while, but yeah, I sing.
Have you heard of a woman called Tenny?
Yes.
Do you sing her songs? I've fallen.
You fall in love with her songs?
Yeah, she's very good.
Okay. Yeah, soul is my go-to. It's my natural.
Soul. Okay. So, what's your favorite song that you can sing just like that without?
I really like India Re.
Okay. So you sing melancholy type.
Yeah, like soulful, like meaningful.
Yeah. Meaningful. Okay. Now, today we're talking about inspiring women for top political positions. This is going to be, I feel, a very heavy kind of discussion. However, very enlightening and very important because I have questions. I have a lot of questions for you. And how was your summer though? Before we get into this,
my summer was good.
What did you do?
I spent some time. I wasn't working. I take some time off to spend some time with my children, and so I was doing various things, singing. We went on tour with the choir.
Is it a Christian choir?
No, it's a what would I say? A sacred choir. They sing lots of different things. They sing some Christian things, some pop things, some spirituals. It's a very mixed choir. So we just went on tour around the UK.
Oh, okay.
For 6 days. That was fun. And
did you go with the kids or?
I did bring them actually. Yeah, they were the only
good.
children, but they had a good time. Yes. And what else? Making the most of the sunshine, like picnics, going swimming.
Did you do shopping?
Not really.
I like shopping.
Yeah, I'm not a big shopper.
I like, even if I don't shop, I like just walking along the shops. When I don't have money is when I'm feeling like I have to go down Bond Street and all of those posh places and look through the shops and think, soon I'll be owning
Okay.
this. This is mine.
Okay.
I will own it. It's mine.
Lovely.
Yes. Okay, people. Now, there are a lot of issues around women even going to work in most homes. In homes. There are a lot of issues regarding women just taking control of their lives while in a marriage setting or while in coupledom, you know, and trying to do things outside of the home. Like, for example, you've got a partner, and you have all sorts of things to do. Now, it is for those people today that we're going to talk about how they get on with their lives. Today, my guest is Angela Na Amerley Mills. Now, apart from a mother, she's a mother of two, she's a lawyer, she's a life and career coach, and also a singer, as we've just found out. And through her coaching, she empowers women in their purpose and sense of self-worth. If I didn't have teeth, it would have been difficult. Purpose and sense of self-worth. Mm-hmm. Most recently, she has embarked upon a mission of uniting, empowering, and safeguarding the women in Ghana. Yes. To restore her country of origin to its former glory. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, that is a very interesting statement, former glory. Mm-hmm. What was the glory? And how is it now former?
How is it now former?
Yeah. Welcome to Kiki's Chat Show.
Fantastic. I like questions.
Yeah.
I don't believe that Ghana is now the place that it was when Kwame Nkrumah led it to its independence.
Okay.
And I would say, just by default, being part of the motherland, Africa, that was flourishing. Mm-hmm. You know, some may say the whole, the Garden of Eden, where you have everything.
The Garden of Eden. You would equate Ghana to the...
in the sense that it would be something where we had everything. Mm. That's how I look at it. Mm. That we had everything. There is nothing. I believe there was a time where there was nothing that was outside Ghana, outside Africa. Mm-hmm. That we needed. We had everything that we needed. Mm-hmm. We had kingdoms. Royalty, mm-hmm. and when you look today, you don't see those things. You don't see those things. We don't see many of those things. So I would say it's a shadow of its former self, mm-hmm. and that's why I say that, to its former, because glory. Yeah, exactly, because it was glorious. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't have a name like Gold Coast even, and not be glorious.
Gold Coast. Mm-hmm. We had a lot of gold.
I'm sure there's still a lot of gold there. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yes. And
which made it even more glorious. Ghana has always been glorious. That is a fact. Mm-hmm. And so okay. So you want to do things. You want to bring it back to its glory, how it was before.
And maybe even surpass that. Who knows? There's no limit to what we can achieve when we actually put our minds to something. So. Okay. Mm-hmm.
So in view of that fact, you feel that the power is with women?
Yes.
In what way? Because
women are the beginning and the end. Women are mothers. Whether a woman has naturally birthed something, we give life to everything. Mm-hmm. And mm-hmm. so you start there. When you need to start something new, you need to birth it. You need to birth an idea, a thought, a dream. Mm-hmm. And we have different ways about going through, maybe approaching things, Mm-hmm. What do they say, we have a way of multiplying things. Mm-hmm. I was talking about this on another show the other day, that, the fact that you educate a man, you educate an individual, mm-hmm. and you educate a woman, you educate a nation, or generation, as I was told, this mm-hmm. fancy proverb. And I believe that, whether or not a woman is actually, you must do this, and this is how you do this, just by looking at us. When they talk about, family recipes and traditions and everything, the mm-hmm. women are usually the first teachers in the home. And I find that so ironic. The first teachers in the home, but yet in places we have to struggle to be educated.
Do you know about... Have you actually been to Ghana?
Yes.
You've lived there?
I've not lived there. I wouldn't say I've lived there. I've been there at the most 2 months.
2 months. Mm-hmm. And looking around, you have this feeling that there is something that you can contribute to the country.
Yes.
And in so doing, you can bring the country back to its on your own. Can you do this?
Of course not.
Okay.
No.
How are you planning to do this?
So it's really simple. I'm just going home to talk to, the way I like to look at it is I'm just going home to talk to my sisters, to bring women together. I know, also I don't know everything, but I know that they're in pockets. There are already people who are doing lots of good things, but I don't necessarily think, and specifically women, are doing lots of good things, whether it's for women or for the country in general. And I think that all those good things, they would be more powerful if we had one focus, which is safeguarding the women. You know, because anything that's divided, it loses power. But you centralize everything, you bring everything together.
You bring the women together. So is it? I mean, are you basing your ideals and your plan on like Kwame Nkrumah, because you mentioned him earlier?
I did, and it's not necessarily basing on him, but I know that as part of his philosophy, or one of the things that he did for us, is that he really did revere, regard, do things to safeguard and provide for, or enable the women to provide for themselves. So you could see it like an offshoot of that, or being in line with the things that he stood for.
Yeah, you want to drag the women into...
I don't want to drag...
you want to bring them into their own power.
Exactly. I want them to know that actually, but it's, I said that tongue in cheek, but I meant it. I don't believe I need to drag anybody to do anything, but I think...
Yeah, you invite, you know...
I would just,
help, aid, all of those words. Anybody
who is struggling to survive on a physical level, you know, from day to day to day to day.
Financially,
yes, I'll say that's the physical. Financially, their physical well-being. Anybody that's struggling.
Yeah.
I would say it's not impossible, but we'll find it difficult to look at and strive for bigger things. It's like, you may have a dream. Not actually, many people have a dream. I believe people should dream plenty, because otherwise you've got nothing to...
People do. Women, for example, I'll give you one. I'll help you here. Women are the most deep-thinking people on this earth. Now, women have children, for example. Now, women want to feed those children. They want to educate those children. Now, if you are, this is, even if it's not a dream, but it's something that you have to do, that's it. You know, this is the way of forging forward, you know, helping. Because if you educate your child, you are helping the child to be helpful in the community that they're in. Or if they go out, you know, that's what they're going to do. So every woman I know has a dream. Every woman, you have to feed those children. You have to educate those children. You have to clothe those children. Now, Ghana's economy, I'm with you. I am with you, because, and it's not like I am kind of putting words in your mouth, but for me, I have learned that in Ghana, for example, the economy is determined by the Makola women. Do you know the Makola women in Ghana?
I do.
Now, Makola women, they know, you can tell when there's inflation. You can tell when there's enough money around. You know, Makola women determine the economy. And therefore, they are the people, really, who these ministers and presidents and everything should be consulting.
I agree.
Yes. So what you need to do, and I'm not telling you to do anything, but I'm suggesting that they are the people that you need.
You are suggesting what I've already planned to do.
So
we are on the same page.
Yeah.
Because it's true. And to go further to what you said, I understand that the Makola women were actually the backbone of in the Kwame Nkrumah times. And it's kind of just been lost. I feel like our ideals, I want to say our, Ghana, even Africa, our ideals of the role of women and men, they've just been so far eroded. Like, it's not, and when I say that, I talk about things like the fact that, so you have the Makala women, you say, determine the economy. You have the women who would physically themselves build houses, and what else? Those who would, I guess, defend villages. I'm thinking of Yasantua, and the warrior, a long. But even still, but it's still within our time. Do you know what I mean? Just because it was a long time ago, it doesn't mean it's any less relevant for me, anyway.
Of course. You see, my thing at the moment, and my regarding what you want to do, which I think is laudable, etc., is that tradition and culture has kind of put women in certain boxes. Yeah. Now, women themselves, even though they do have dreams, they can shut down on their dreams and just to let the man move forward. And they, women don't do this, and women don't do that. So it has to be like the Yasantua, a warrior woman, or a difficult woman, or an intransigent woman, a stubborn woman, or a woman who will not get a husband, or etc., who actually make it in the world. Individually, they are the ones who they are the ones who actually are doing things. I mean, I'll give you an analogy. For example, there is a school, a girls' school in Ghana. They do really well. They are doctors, lawyers, individual, whatever. They do all, as they say. Now, these girls hardly get husbands, or if they do have husbands, they don't last. They're easily divorced, and people talk about it. Now, people talk about it as if it's a bad thing. Now, does that, to me, and men, don't take this negatively, Ghanaian men especially, but I feel that the men are weak, because so you cannot deal with a strong-minded woman, you cannot deal with a woman who has ambition, you cannot deal, do you see what I mean? Now, if that is the case, and the majority of people think like that, a woman who's looking for a husband or who wants to do X and Y will hold back, because she needs to have a family, and she needs to have, that sort of life. Therefore, she will not push forward. She will not. You see, the issues about politics, and which I'm interested to ask you, is how are we going to get round that for people to be able to go to meetings, to be able to become, serious politicians, and that way?
I would just say we need to keep it really simple. So what you said, there's a whole number of issues in what you said. And the thing is, when we throw up those many issues, people get overwhelmed, and then we go and try and tackle this one over here, this one over there, this one. Meanwhile, the main root thing we're not dealing with.
Which is what?
That's what I'm saying. So what I wanted to say was that I believe that we have this, if you like, disconnection, because women, like you say, how the roles of the women are now, we have just forgotten ourselves. We have just forgotten ourselves.
We women have forgotten ourselves.
We have forgotten ourselves.
Okay.
And I don't say that from a blame perspective.
No.
I say it from a perspective.
I'm not even feeling blame.
No, that's cool, because where I come from, I stand firm is that, I don't deal with blame. I deal with the fact that we are all responsible. We're all responsible for what we are living. I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm not saying you actually created that thing, but somehow, something about you, your energy, your vibration, you found yourself in this position, and it's not by accident. And
are you talking about me?
Not you personally.
Oh.
I'm talking about you. I'm talking about me. I'm talking about everybody.
Where they find themselves. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I'm getting it now.
There's no such thing as a coincidence.
No.
So what I'm saying is that for the women, actually for everybody, first of all, we come here for an experience, because on earth we're human, but before we're spirit or soul, as some people may say. So we come here for an experience, and when we get here, we forget that actually we are this, infinite, powerful, I would say, being. Let's put it like that. And so when I say we forget ourselves, is that, we're having the human experience, but we forget we're much more than human.
Mm-hmm.
And women particularly...
Much more than human.
Much more than human.
Girls, you're listening.
So much more than human. Because the human is finite. You're born and you die. Yeah, exactly.
But the soul, the spirit, to achieve, I'm with you.
Is infinite.
Yeah.
And when we get, when you have trials and tribulations in life, it's natural that you have a heart, trials and tribulations, they go hand in hand with life. I don't think it's because people have done something, it's just life. Because life is about balance, contrast, you go up and down. So what I'm saying is that we get to a point where we actually believe that those trials and tribulations and our humanness, that's all there is. And we forget that actually we came from up here. And
so we need to aspire to get back up there. Is that what it is?
That's partly it, yeah. And that is the journey. That is the journey. Recognizing yourself for the true, powerful being that you are, that each and every one of us is. And all I'm saying is that we've got to a place where we've bought into living day to day, hand to foot, forgetting what's important, and we've forgotten that, actually, I am somebody. From whoever, from... if you're, from, I want to say, like in the village or something, to top corporate people, if you're here, you have a purpose, number one, and number two, part of your journey is to realize what that is and go and seek that out. But for the women, I'm saying that we have forgotten that wherever we are in the world, we are powerful. It's not an arrogant thing, it just is. And so why I said it's so simple is that literally bringing the women together. So for example, you can have two women, completely different background, different education, socioeconomic status, whatever, and they could have lived the same thing. As an example, they could have had a breakdown in their marriage, or they could have had some other or they could have lost a child. And there are some things that culturally, not just in Ghana, so maybe in Africa, we don't speak about. Like it's taboo. Like those things that, fair enough, a marriage is supposed to be sacrosanct. You don't speak about it. If there's abuse, if there's anything, we don't speak about it. And in those situations, the reason why I say that is because at those times, we can feel really isolated. You feel isolated, you feel like you're the only person in the world going through that thing. Meanwhile, not knowing like how many of your sisters are going through the same thing. And if you spoke, there's solidarity there. You manage to get through these things. To share experiences
and to be able to pick up or help. To support one another. Yeah. That's why women, we are relational beings. That's why we talk like how we talk. That's why we're sitting close. Exactly. Together. Close. We are close. This is why we relational beings. Relational beings. Never thought about that. Yeah, exactly. That's why we talk. That's where we place the value. But because we've become so isolated and people want you to speak louder. Oh, because we are because we have got ground down in our day-to-day living and the bills. Fair enough, there's things you have to take care of. You have to pay school fees, you have to pay bills. You do have to do that. But that's not all that life is about. And like you said, at least you personally, all the women have dreams. But at some point, those dreams, we forget them or they get crushed because then we're living a reality like, but if I'm doing all this stuff, where am I going to find the space and the time for this dream? I will tell you that exactly what you've just said. I had dreams at a certain point, and those dreams were about to be swallowed up by me being somebody else, or me being, what your marriage is expecting of you. That there are people who are married or who are in couples and things who also know their power and who also develop it and who do what they want to do, But there are some people who you could be in a controlling situation or a situation where what you want to do is not important, but what the other person wants to do is more important. It's not a shared kind of thing, and the person has their dream and forcing their dream upon you, etc., etc. Now, those kind of things can really destabilize you. And then you start to wonder that when am I going to, or okay, fine, there are good people on this earth, good women, who will put it all aside and just, for the sake of marriage, for the sake of,
Exactly.
But
The
you're
compromise.
saying that people are so powerful that they can do it all.
I am. I actually do believe that. However, it's necessary for us to go through those challenges, those breakdowns, because I get the impression that divorce to some extent is still taboo. It's like, and it's usually the woman, whether she does it or society does it, or that wears that shame.
People do not wear the shame of divorce.
Yeah.
It's not, especially when you're not lying down. You're busy getting on with your life. It is a phase. You go through that, you end it, you start again, or you continue. Whichever one, yeah. So we're of the same mind. We're yeah.
Yeah.
People,
like-minded individuals.
Yeah.
Because you will still have some
your
people
life
who...
could even be better than ever. That is what you don't realize.
Well, it's a cycle.
Yeah.
It's a cycle. I've been married 10 years and I have 2 beautiful children. How am I going to say that I regret that?
No, you don't.
No.
You learned something from it.
Exactly, and I'm not the same woman
As
now as I
you
was
were.
when I entered. Yeah, so I say
Exactamundo.
thank you. I say thank you to the person that travelled that journey with me, and then now it's on to something else.
Not everyone will say thank you, but whatever it is that you want to say,
Yeah. It's a personal thing, but it's very. That's a whole nother thing. A thing about forgiveness. But the reason I say thank you because I take responsibility for my part in that, because it's never just one person.
Yeah.
So
No, but
I
I think you should come on again for us to talk about spiritual enlightenment, because I can see that you are very into this whole spiritual thing in how people should, which is not what we really are talking about.
No.
It's just a part. It's just a part. So you have to come back so that we carry on with that. Now,
but based on what you just said, I
Yeah.
just want to say that that's one thing that it's like I'm not addressing when I go home, because I feel that, like I said, the basics. If you have somebody who's there, a woman that's there with her children, just say worst case scenario, she doesn't know where they're going to sleep, or they have somewhere to sleep. They don't know where the food is going to come from, or somebody needs healthcare. How am I now going to start talking to her about her dreams and her
spirituality?
Like you have to meet them. You have to meet anybody. But now I'm talking to my sisters. Have to meet you where you are. That's why it has to be about every woman. Everybody has somewhere to sleep safely, free from molestation, safely. They have food to eat. They have, if they need medical care, they have medical care. Like the basics. Then now you can start to think about, okay, now you're yourself. Like now we've ticked off the basics. Now we can go higher. Like, what is it that you want to do? What is it that's unique about you that you can go out there in the world and serve and all this kind of stuff?
are you talking about contribution to society? Therefore, if people want to be into politics, which is our main course that we're discussing, if people want to go into politics, how do they contribute, or how do they identify what their strengths are to be able to, is that it?
What, to be involved in politics?
Yeah.
Yes and no. I would say that matters. Whatever you do, like part of our journey is trying to identify what are our strengths, what is unique about us, that we can give and put out into society. To contribute, to make a contribution, to make the world a better place, as they say. And in politics specifically, I don't think it's anything different. Just that the notion, or what I'm saying about now women entering politics, is that if you believe the proverb, if it is true that educate a man, you educate an individual, educate a woman, you educate a nation, then with women in power, you empower many more people.
I'm going to leave you in the camera while you speak.
Okay.
Because everyone is concerned that the camera is turned, is upside down.
Oh.
And I need to straighten it. I don't know how to do this because we can see ourselves
The
straight.
right way up, yes.
We're the right way up. This is the trick of the iPad. This is an iPad that is always tricking me because we can see ourselves upright and everyone sees us upside down.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
guess.
So I'm going to get up and do this. Now,
Okay.
regarding the topic, and I'll ask you a question. While you're answering it, I'll be
Yeah.
busy trying to turn this thing.
Okay.
Is,
Turn my head.
is that, do you have any role models? Do you know role models of people who have, because we haven't got there yet, but I'm kind of asking whether you want to be, if you want to be in politics, what is driving you and why do you want to go to Ghana and do it and not be here where you live and understand people and blah, blah, blah. You could be like all of these, Diane Abbott or whoever. Why do you want to go to Ghana?
Because I have, although I'm so if people didn't know, I am a London-born Ghanaian. I was born and bred here. I went to Ghana a few times as a child. I've been more often as an adult. But I have always had an affinity with home. I call it home. As soon as I touch foot there, it's like
You feel like the gods are with you.
I can just be me, and it doesn't matter. Of course, they'll look at me, and it's like, oh yeah, she's from abroad. They listen to me speak, and it doesn't matter. It's still home.
Yeah.
And the thing is, what people, I will be bold to say that we don't realize is that everybody that looks like you and me, every African, every black woman, or even man, will not be okay if home, whether it's Ghana, whether it's any other country on the African continent, will not all be able to fully thrive until Africa thrives. Because it's home. It's slightly going off topic, which I don't want to do too much
don't go
of,
off topic, please.
But that's it in a nutshell. So why do I not want to do it from here? Because I need to be amongst my family. I need to be amongst the people who I want to have the impact on. And I can't be sitting in any kind of, ivory tower, I would say, calling the shots from afar. And I know that I will make more impact being at the place where I want my sisters to come together. Here, people think that you come to, I was born and bred here. And I know usually the perception back home is you come to the West, you come to England, you go to the States, whatever, and it's like you've made it. We have our own problems over here.
You mean racism?
Yeah, racism. We may earn a lot more, but we spend a lot more too. The problems are different. The women, I would say we are more, to a certain extent, empowered here. But still, many will say to you that we're still second-class citizens. So it's, what do they say? First world problems over here. But there's still issues. And I would rather go home and plant the seed that will cause the ripple effect for us to be self-sufficient. We should not need to be going to anybody else to help us to live as a people. We shouldn't need to do that. I don't understand. Well, I do understand. But what I'm saying is everything that we need should be, I believe, is in the country, but it's been diverted and is not being used most effectively for us, for the natives of the land. And so I cannot be doing that, from over here, and it doesn't seem authentic for me. But equally, the very personal thing is that I feel like I want to be home.
So basically, or let's look at it in another way. You have lived here. You've grown up here. You have learned a lot. Your heart and your soul is in Africa.
Yes.
Is in Ghana.
Yes.
You see your people, you identify with them.
Yes.
And they are the people that you want to do something for, to help them.
Yes. And I would even go further. They are the people that I want to do something for, because I do it for them. I'm doing it for myself. We are one and the same. Just because I was born here and I have this accent, and you know,
you are still Amerley.
Exactly.
She's Amerley.
So it's just by geographical location we are distanced, but you know, our ancestors are the same.
Yeah.
You know.
No, yeah, they are though.
They are the same, and so
they are.
Not everybody will. You know, this is my personal journey, but I've had this feeling for a while now, and I didn't know what it was about, as in wanting to go home and what I'm going to do. But my belief is that every child of Africa at some stage needs to go home or do something to help the continent and the countries thrive. That's like our duty as citizens. Or it doesn't matter where we're born. And okay, I'll come back to it because I just remembered it recently. But it's Kwame Nkrumah that said, you know, I'm not an African because I was born in Africa. It's because Africa is born in me.
Okay.
So the same thing. I'm not, you know.
You could be in Iceland, Azerbaijan, but Africa,
be the North Pole. Exactly.
And Africa was born into your soul.
It runs
in
through
your
my veins.
psyche, in your blood.
Exactly. And so
she's wearing African earrings, but she's wearing a Ghana,
my country
Ghana red, gold, green, Ghana mask earring.
And it's also to show, I think the authenticity for me is important. It's like, oh, of course, she's going to be sitting over there in her lap of luxury, maybe sending money or saying these things, but she doesn't know what we live. She doesn't. So, yeah, that's... and I would have to say, that doesn't seem right. I need to be there and say, but I do see what you're going through, you know. And so that's why we need to change things.
But if you went, this is an aside, but it's just a question that flashed through my mind just now. If you went to Ghana now, would you miss cone plates and all of those silly things that people, you're here, you can go to the shop and get this, and things that, look, just photocopying an A4 size page can take the whole morning. Whereas here you can just go somewhere, put it in a machine, blah, blah, you've done it. A lot of things that you can do for yourself. It seems like a lot of people need to be helping, running around, things not going right. So how do you see, or are those the things that you're going to change? What are the things that you're going to change? Just from the top of your head.
Ensure that every single woman has a safe place to live and sleep.
Make
sure she has food to eat.
Okay.
And she has medical or health care, and it's not like giving birth to her babies on the floor in the corridor of the hospital or something. Or if she wants to have it at home. Basic, every single woman. And so, of course, no, I cannot do it by myself.
No. So,
and there are already women there, like I said, who are doing things.
Women doctors.
Like,
women.
And women who are equally passionate about women empowerment. I spoke to someone the other day, and she does something where they provide sanitary towels to women who can't afford them. Because it's not a luxury. It's like women don't choose to have their menses. So how can they be forced to walk around and they can't have the dignity to keep themselves, you know?
You know, sanitary towels are taxed.
Because women are not running the country. That would not happen if women... What kind of sense does that make?
No, I'm
not challenging you. But I said, what kind of sense does that make? What kind of sense does that make? For taxing people for being in a condition that they don't control. So you're taxing us for being women.
Yes.
That's what I said.
Yeah, even here in this country, there is something called the pink tax. And the pink tax, if you don't know, let me help you with this. The pink tax is everything that is for women, which men have their shaving blades. It's cheaper than a woman's shaving blade. With things that women buy, shampoos are more expensive, etc., etc. Now, even here, it's a topic that we're talking about. So you're going to go to Ghana and change things in that way so that are you going to be in line that men and women have the same, or are you going to make women's life easier while the men can struggle on? How is it going to work?
This is about the women. like I said, this is no disrespect to men. Men can sort themselves out. The women, on the other hand, actually forget that. The women can also, this is not to say that women are weak or anything like that. We just have stopped talking to each other. We I have this thing over here which is my personal bugbear, but it's like my belief, at least over here, the perception is the more selfless a woman is, the more of a woman she is, or the better a woman she is.
You mean this is a thing that is being perpetrated onto women?
Yes.
I agree.
Okay, so it's not just me, but that really, it really grates me because it doesn't make sense. How is it if when you think of all the people a woman should look after, whether or not she has her own children or not, if it's not her own children, it's the nieces or nephews or the elderly parent. The number of women, the number of people a woman has to look after, is, she essentially looks after the family. And yet somehow what is perpetrated, she must look after everyone first. And then if she's lucky and she has energy and time, she may be able to do something nice for herself. When really, the more people you have to look after, the more time should be spent on looking after yourself, or people should be helping you look after yourself. Then you can support many more people and they get the best of you. But it's completely upside down here. So what I'm saying is to go home, to speak to the women, and it's actually a very simple message. It's literally just bringing... And I know this because even all the women, even the men that I'm speaking to about this, they're like, yeah, of course. Everybody gets it, but we're not doing it. This is what I don't understand. So it's to go home and speak to the women and say, hey, you're doing this over here. You're doing this over here. Who can build this many houses for this many women? Okay, let's do that. Who has, the place, the facilities or the resources to be able to regularly provide food for this community? Or we don't need anything from anybody else.
No.
We don't. We're just very disconnected. And it's not a blame on women or we're different thing. The powers that be, if you call them powerful, keep us focused on how we survive day to day. And we're so busy working hard, trying to work that job that we work all hours that doesn't pay as much as we would like to pay the bills, to take care of the family, that by the time you've looked up, you've missed your whole life. It's like it's sad, but it's what we're living. Yeah. And that's sad, but I feel even sad when I hear about what my sisters are living back home. Like, and it's not a competition of what's worse or anything, but the main point is that is what's happening, but it doesn't have to happen. It does not have not anymore. It does not have to be like that. It does not have to be like that. You only have to look at. My heart is so warmed when we hear stories of these young children who, this one's just invented this one. This one's just like a fantastic radio using safety clips or something like the intelligence that we have in that country. We should not be having these problems.
I think you should add. One of the things you should also add is education. And one of the if you talk about people setting up, making a radio with paper clips, there is something which I thought of the other day. You see, we in Africa are taught by rote method. Okay. Do you know that what rote is? Rote method is where children are taught like a poem. 1 + 1, 2, 2 + 2, 3.
Rhyming.
It's repeated, and it doesn't even have to rhyme, but everything is just learned and regurgitated. You don't really add thought. You don't have the chance to ask a question. You don't have to do anything. A child who is in a classroom who's constantly raising their head and asking questions is a problem. Is naughty. Is that sort of So, what we need is to help the child to think outside of the box. And that's what we need. Yeah. So you add that to your list.
I was going to say yes, But then the reason I stopped was that I actually think it's not that the child doesn't know how to think, is that they get taught not to think.
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
what you're saying. Yeah, yeah.
Rote,
So
you know, yeah.
So it's actually, so that's what I would say, I guess I bring from this side, where basically as frustrating as it can be, the more questions a child asks, you know, the more they're going to develop their, you know, ability to debate and to, you know, their imagination. That's it, simply. If I could say to, like you said, dreams. We underestimate the power of dreams, because everything starts from a dream, an idea, a thought. Everything, like anything that exists in the world, somebody had to think about it first, had to dream it first. So even, you know, I can just imagine, even if the children were allowed to say, okay, so what Ghana do you want to see in the next however many years, and draw it and actually put it into their image, and they see that and they live that. Even that's a big thing. But I understand in terms of, it's kind of like they're shut down.
Yeah.
It's like, just do this.
And I feel that there's a lot of things that people can do. If you took your car here to a mechanic, they would look at it and then tell you, you need this, and you know, and you go and buy the parts and bring it, and they'll fix your car. In Ghana, if you took your car to a mechanic, he would find metal and solder things together. If you don't have the parts, your car will move. So you see a lot. You can even see a 3-legged car moving.
Yeah, because they had a program here some time back, and they were showing, I think it was on the BBC, they were showing what happens to all the unwanted appliances that we have here, like TVs and stuff. And they showed it, and it ended up in Ghana, Nigeria, and these people were just revive it. They'll fix it, and they can use them there. But that's a whole nother conversation about how we just throw away everything here. And they talk about recycling, but because they're building things that just are made to throw away, and yet we can use everything.
Yeah,
we can use everything.
I think that you have a plan now. One of the things is, yes, we've gone all over the place.
That's a conversation.
Yeah. It's a very good conversation, because a lot of people will pick up things from all the things that we're saying now. What I want to ask you is, how do you plan to forge forward? So you're going to buy a ticket and go to Ghana, or you're going to do things from here to be able to, when you buy the ticket and get to Ghana, you've got things in motion. How are you going to do this?
So
first, and the other question, you tell me.
You sure?
Yeah.
So the way that I operate is, you said we'll have another conversation about spiritually, is that spirituality, yeah, is that I don't plan everything out A to Z.
Okay.
I put my energy and everything in the next step. That is the obvious step that I need to take. And so that's a good one. I could do it quickly, you know. So I have people on the ground now in Ghana that are speaking to women, you know. So when I talk about these things, it's not like I've just fabricated and made them up. Like, I know what's happening to some extent. I know what's happening on the ground, but now I want to go see with myself. So I'll be going to Ghana a few times, back and forth for a while, getting myself together to actually make a move, because it's not just me. I'll be coming with my children. And so, you know, to look into schools and everything.
Oh, you mean eventually?
Yeah. But, I mean, we'll be there at Christmas. So, for now, my focus is really simple. It's just getting this message out onto as many media platforms as possible, especially in Ghana, because I just want people to get used to the idea that women, sisters, I'm talking to you, and we need to talking to you, and we need to talk to one another, and all the sisters. And what I want to say is that what I'm not doing is saying that the women are not doing good enough. Absolutely not. There are some women and initiatives, you know, that are really well, but I just want us to focus all our energy. So those of us who are not doing as well, we have to lift them up. And everybody will have have something to contribute. So it's literally about now, we don't need to depend on everybody else. We just need to come together. We need to come together, because it's not, as much as I'm focusing on the women, it's like if we don't do this, you see how the world is now. My belief is that the world and the chaos and everything is a reflection of the state of the women across the world. And
The state of women.
the state of the women. And if you follow somebody called Queen Efwa, she talks a lot about this, and all her work is about, and she specifically says about the womb of the woman. So basically, yeah, because we give life to everything, and over the years and millennia, it's basically been desecrated, abused, and everything, and that's why the whole world is chaos. And what we don't realize as women, nothing is by coincidence. Yeah, it's not by coincidence that we call it Mother Nature, Mother Earth, the motherland. It's about us. We give birth. We birth and look after everything. So if we're all maybe not in one place, but all scattered, or we're depleted. I say we're depleted. Some of us, we're not ourselves. We don't have the things we need. Now is the time that we have to restore, replenish ourselves, so that we can look after everybody else. Because that's what we do. We look after everybody. But for so long, we haven't looked after ourselves. So that's why we need to talk, and that's why we need to help each other.
Is your party then going to be just women?
I would like to say yes. It must be. It must be. First, because it's never been done. But at least to start with, because to show, not that we have anything to prove, but it is that it needs the woman's energy, and that does not mean that we are not supported by and collaborating with men. No. But we have to see, it's like almost being inspirational. Women, they have to see, we have to see ourselves there. We have to see ourselves there so others can see and like, okay, I can do this too.
So women have to see those women, the pioneering women out there, and then join in and make it even bigger. So basically it's a women's party. It's a women's party.
It's always women's party.
I want to join your party.
I'll take your details.
Seriously?
No, but seriously, it has to be all women. This is not. We're not fighting. We're not competing. This is not about. This is not about diminishing anybody. This is about replenishing, uplifting, restoring, safeguarding, empowering ourselves. Just to remember who we are. That's it.
So you are going to be president?
I am going to be president.
Okay.
With your help, of course, my sisters. But I'm not going to be president for the sake of having a title and being president. No. I'm going to be president because my gift is to collaborate and unite people. That's who I am. You speak to my friends, speak to my family. I have fingers and lots of different. It's just I like to speak to people. I like to gather people. I like people to be happy.
And you want to correct the status quo. You want to correct it.
Yeah, I want to change it.
You want to change it.
I want to change it.
You want to heal it.
And what do they say? For those who are biblical, there's a time for everything, a season for every purpose under heaven. It's our time now, because the funny thing is, we talk about the world. I was going to say the way the world is going, and some people worry about climate change and global warming. I am not worried about that, because Mother Nature, the world will be fine. It's the human race that's going to be wiped out if we don't get our act together, quite frankly.
The human race is going to be wiped out.
The world, Mother Nature, planet Earth, will take care of itself.
I have a question. In some parts of the world, there are women leaders, women heads of states. Pakistan had a woman. India had a woman. Liberia, Sirleaf. There have been women, Margaret Thatcher.
Yes.
We've had all sorts. Now, have they, or are any of them, have you studied any of them? Have you looked at the way that they, governed their countries? Have you checked or looked and thought, yes, Indira Gandhi had a point, or the Pakistani one, I've forgotten her name, but I really liked her when she was on until things went awry. But all of these people, have you considered them or looked at their way or thought no, I'm going to be better, I'm going to be different, I'm going to be...
No, and the simple reason is because not coming from an arrogant place, but coming from a place where I feel that this is my task to do. Of course, there are things that I need to know. There are people that I need to speak to, but I'm not comparing myself to anybody else. No. I'm not, because, of course, I can look and say, oh, well, this was like this was like this. What I'm going to do now, how I'm going to do it, how that elaborates, it hasn't been done before. So I don't have a blueprint.
But I'm talking about okay, I'll make it easier and simpler for you. I have role models in my life. I've met women, very powerful women. I have met calm, quiet women. I have met women in fact, I've met you. You're young, you're vibrant, you're ready. You are wanting to take on a whole troubled, weakened country. Now, some of the women have made huge impact on me. And from childhood, I've met people who I've wanted to be like them, or not necessarily be fully like them, but there are things that they do, different women. My grandmother, for example, she is in my life, she is one of the most amazing women of my life. And then also my daddy's sisters, my mother, so there are women in my life who have made me want to do certain things, and it's those women who have given me strength. When I think I don't even want to emulate, but I am reminded of them to be able to move forward. Now, is there anybody who, apart from your grandmother, of course?
My mother and my maternal grandmother, particularly. She's passed now since 2001, but she's here. Like,
in your heart,
she's
here. With you.
She's with me, and she is spurring me on. But coming back to what you're saying, of course there are. I guess there are people that I admire the different things that they do. They may not necessarily run a country. You have your Oprah Winfrey's, you have the people that speak to power and their journey. All of those women, and I am somebody that generally I will take something from everywhere, and join the dots and say, okay, so now what do I want to do? You see, so I don't take away anything from anyone, but I can't say there's one person. I don't know if that's what you're asking me. That I think, actually, I want to be. You want to be the like
female Kwame Nkrumah then, a man.
You said it. No, I just want to be the Angela Amerley Mills. But
you want to take Kwame Nkrumah's message, because I can see that you quote him a lot.
Because I think he I guess among lots of the other leaders, he actually did things, I guess, that were maybe seen as not possible, and like I said, the synergy, the analogy is that the fact that he saw the value, the importance of the women. You see, that's where we really align. So maybe it is time for a first, but not emulating anybody. Everybody has to be their original self, but they can, I can say, yes, I like what he did. He the first African country to gain its independence
was Kwame Nkrumah.
No, it was Ghana.
Yeah, it was Ghana. Yeah,
Ghana, the first African country to gain its independence. The country that is, I believe, geographically closest to the equator, like to the center of the world. Like, isn't that just poetic?
It is, isn't it?
The time is now.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. People, I hope you're following this, because there is a plan to this, and there is, there's all sorts of things. The other thing I wanted to ask you was, when you get there, how you see, politics is one, very expensive. Two, is very dirty. And are you ready? Are you ready in your mind, in your soul? Are you ready to face it? Are you ready to to kind of get there and face all obstacles? I mean, of course, you will not know the sort of obstacles, but are you ready to overcome them? Because it's really difficult. I mean, Nkrumah, for example, and I'm not using him because you
Oh, no, that's okay.
yeah, but I mean, he's one. It was the first, and he went through hell, and he was bombed, he was maltreated, he was abused, he was maligned, and yet he got our independence for us, and he did a lot of things. For me, what I know about him, I'm not a great follower, but I know that he had vision, and I also know that he collaborated with a lot of other heads of state to be able to make Ghana to get to where we were.
Yeah.
How are you going to do this? That's what I'm saying. If you get there, so now you've hit Accra, you've unpacked, then what?
Hit the ground. Speak to people. I'm already, like I said, I'll be going back and what I've been doing, so I'm speaking to you. I'm speaking to as many people as possible.
Oh, we will be
podcasts.
speaking again.
Yes. So in terms of how people can support, is literally, if you have a media platform, you're on the radio, the TV, it's sending the message. The message is more important than the person that's saying it, quite frankly. But I'm here to send the message and to encourage others to come forward. Because it's not like I'm any better or any worse than anybody. No. But now I feel called that it's now my time to speak this message. And if it's time for me to speak the message, that means there are people out there, that are ready to hear it, and you've been waiting. So I'm here now. So it's time to come together and do something. But specifically answering what you just asked me, I believe, you're never ready until you're in the thing. So I get, and because people talk to me, friends, family, are you sure about this? Politics
Things is terrible.
Yeah. And I've it's not something that I can say that I'm a professional in, but the way I approach my life, it's like you have your vision, you have people around you, or I have people around me who share my vision and keep me grounded. You have to go with an entourage, and of course there's going to be obstacles. It's big. I recognize that, and but is it worth it? Like I said, I feel called to do it. And so there are things, I believe, in different ways, there are other people that can relate, that they feel that there are things that they must do that are bigger than them.
Have you got a name for your party?
Not yet. Not for the actual party, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you... When... You see, my question, my question, which I asked previously, which you've answered part of it, but the other part is, so how do you then, are you going to mobilize? How you're going to travel? Because Ghana is not Accra.
Yes, no, I know. And since you asked the question, I know there'll be many other people out there. And to tell you the truth, I don't have the answers to all those things. However, I am one person, but with the power of social media, we can't be in a better place in terms of mobilizing and getting people to assemble here and there. So yes, I can travel, but I'm not by myself. There are already people in Ghana that are speaking to others and sending the message. So I'm the one person who is putting a face to this message to put out there. But this is going to take so many more of us, and that's why I said that we need to talk and come together, because it's not about one person. But I'm prepared to be the one person that at least will say, okay, I'll stand up for you, but like you guys need to come and you need to come and join and support, so we can all move forward.
When you say we need to come together, are you talking to people here? Or are you talking to people in Ghana? Or are you talking to people here and in Ghana?
I'm talking to people everywhere.
Everywhere.
Ghana, America, Canada, other countries in Ghana, Africa, and the diaspora. So all my African sisters, wherever they are, and actually not even there, just anybody that I know, because this is I was going to say humanitarian, but this is it is big, and you don't have to look a certain way to support. It's so I'm talking to everybody, men and women alike, but the men to support us, to stand up, remember, because we are going to take care of everything. Once we are right again, we are taking care of everything.
People, there is a plan, and this plan is going to work out. And so, women, wherever you are, and there are going to be loads of people, because there are people watching.
Okay.
And as you can see the
hello.
So there are people watching. So they're all listening. The women watching, men watching, everyone's watching. Mm-hmm. But my cousin is watching.
Hey.
Yes.
Auntie Bridget.
Yeah.
Oh, hello. Can I say
yeah,
your name?
You can
hello,
say.
Auntie Bridget.
Yeah. So there are people watching. There are lots of people. I go these days. You can go somewhere and you meet people. And maybe I've had a guest on, and then they'll want to talk about that particular topic, but they don't realize that it's my guest who's talking. It's not me, And so so people listen, and so you've got to tell me more, even when we come off, so that when I go somewhere and someone asks me, I need to know. We need to know. You don't have a name to the party.
For the party, no, but people can, if you want information or just to say that they're interested, they can email. For now, they can email power2ourmothers@gmail.com. Power to our mothers, just like it sounds. Power to our mothers, and to power2ourmothers@gmail.com. And why mothers? Because the women, we are the mothers of the world. We are so.
And our wombs have to be nice and fresh so that the world is replenished.
Yeah, we replenish ourselves so we can replenish the rest of the world. Yes.
Wow. This is very interesting. We should have been in the studio, we'll be playing some nice music, but we're not.
Next time.
Yeah, we will be in the studio. Another question I wanted to ask you was, do you follow Ghana politics though? Do you listen to the news and all of the things that's happening there?
I'm starting to listen to more. So there wasn't much there, but now especially I'm in this place, people send me things and I dip in and out. Because that's the other thing. Over here, when you say, I don't know what your view is, but people I speak to, and even me at some stage, when you just mention the word politics and people just look at you with disgust, or it's just like, oh no, I don't want anything to do with that. And my belief has always been that the people who should be in politics are actually the people who don't want to be there, because they're the ones that are just, I feel, are speaking from a really authentic place. They really want to make a change, and that's not to renounce anybody who has always aspired to be a politician. But the reason why taking this angle is that I just recognise it's the system. It's the system that's running the country, and so you don't necessarily reinvent the wheel. To a certain extent, you use what you have around you, and the way I'm seeking to do that is have a women's party, just a women's party, with our own unique way of approaching things, of being relational, and actually considering, because you were saying something earlier before about how we think about lots of different things. The range of things that we can think about and relate to at any one time. We're known as multitaskers, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you so when you look at it like that, I actually think it's surprising that we haven't been there before. In terms of when you look at problem solving, the need to do problem solving on a national level, that you don't have many more women, because we are naturally placed to do those things.
But maybe that is why maybe men feel that if they allow you to become the general problem solver, they will become obsolete. Have you ever considered how men feel? Because there are men who have very strong women at home. The woman is doing everything, and so then they feel useless. There are men who, even though the woman is doing everything, they make the women feel useless, like as if they're not doing it just so that they will. And
that's a conversation for another time, because again, I said our roles have been turned upside down.
But
our traditional, as far as I'm aware, I understand our traditional roles, applying probably to the whole of Africa, being that men and women, they're not equal. Women are there to do things that men don't
want to do.
And not even don't want to, and vice versa. We come from a complementary model, but here, especially in the West, it's competitive. It's not supposed to be like that. Everybody has a role. Even every family, fair enough, you have a different dynamic. It could be the woman that goes out to work instead of the man, and the man looks at, that's fine, that's their family. But here, coming back to what I was saying about the focus is on us struggling to survive on a day-to-day basis. That means keeping us occupied with battle of the sexes, battle of the races, battle of the religions. None of that stuff matters. Not that it doesn't matter, but in the grand scheme of things, we want to thrive in everything, it doesn't matter. But that's what we are led to focus on.
But if you carry on in this way with this argument, and I'm not saying your argument is wrong or anything, but if you're creating this utopia that we may not actually see, because we have these dreams, we have these ideals of how the world should be. I mean, when you're talking about world stage, Africa stage, country stage, but it's difficult because people have work, they have children, they have things, they have, there's culture that's holding you back, there's all of these things. How do you then work it? How do you, but from what you're saying, I'm trying to.
No, it's okay. I understand.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
I understand where you're coming from,
Yes.
and I understand that's where most people will come from. It's very natural for us that when we do anything, we need to be able to figure it out from A to Z.
Yeah.
But that's not, in my humble opinion, that's not what we have to do. Because imagine if I sat there and I did that. I thought, okay, so I'm running for president, so I have managed or have a completely detailed, every minutiae of detail from A to Z to how I'm going to get there. I would be completely overwhelmed.
But if you don't,
start.
that's what happened to Nkrumah, and because he left people to do whatever. That's what brought the downfall of his party, possibly. But I'm just saying.
Yeah, no.
It's
it's good because, like I said, if you raised it, then somebody else will be thinking it. But I don't believe that is, and that's how I live my life. There is a point at which you need to, of course, you have to have a strategy, you have to have things to do, but you don't have to do that all at the beginning.
Okay,
you have to focus your energy
as you move on.
Yeah, because as well as you start where you start. So this is a classic example. I'm here speaking this message. I don't yet know the name. I have an idea, but I don't yet know. I'm not announcing a name of the party.
Okay.
I haven't yet fixed the date where I'm going to settle land for sure with my boys in Ghana. There's things that are unknown right now. If I waited to get all those things in line before I started speaking anything, how much worse will the country get in that time?
Yeah.
Whereas now, people and human nature as well, we need time to get used to things. We need time to hear this message once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 10 times before they think, oh, maybe she's saying.
Has a point.
So I'm a big fan. I get that some people say don't count your chickens before you're hatched, but with something like this, it's relational. People need to get used to the idea of hearing the message. I'm just saying, I'm going home to speak to my sisters, to the women, to bring them together. In the meantime, it connects people that maybe have been thinking about this and they didn't know where to go. And so what's happening in the background is, I'm getting a call from here, email from this one, WhatsApp from this one. Oh, let's speak. I know this person, all in the background. And so by the time that I'm actually ready to be there, all that stuff is sorted out. And I didn't actually have to, but because I was brave enough to say, this is what I'm planning to do. And of course, there'll be people out there thinking, oh, but why would you say all that and everything is not yet fixed? And why? Because we're used to doing things how they've always been done. if you want to create a different outcome, you cannot do things the way that they've always been done. It's not going to work.
Okay, my question to you now is, are you aware that Kwame Nkrumah's daughter is also set up a party? Oh, well, she hasn't set up a party, but she's trying to revive her father's party, and she's been on that course for quite a few years now.
I'm going to speak to her.
In what capacity? Are you going to speak to her to collaborate, or you're going to speak to her and say, chick, I've got my own party I'm coming to do, so blah, blah, blah. What are you going to say?
I'm going to speak to her, and so the short answer to your question is I don't know. How I meet people is I'm going to meet them where they're at, because she may have been doing this on this course, but we have never met before. Things change, and how we start out, maybe how she set out the plan to do things. When something else comes into the mix, maybe they rethink things. So first, I, as you can see, I don't necessarily set things in stone. I know where I'm headed. I don't know how I'm going to get that, but I'm not worried about that, because I'm at least setting the ball rolling.
Okay. My question really is because, the hair party is the party that her father had set up. Yeah. That people had, they've heard of them and all of that. And I was wondering whether when you say I'm going to talk to her or I'm going to meet her or try to meet her, are you going to collaborate or say, okay, come with me, let us do, or, hi, I'm around now and I'm setting up my own party. I'd like to meet you and chat, but I'm doing my own thing. You don't know.
I literally won't know until meet her. However, the crux of what I'm saying is that we need to unite.
All right.
So I'm not interested in any competition.
No.
And I fully accept that not everybody will want to join the party. Not everybody will want to come along on the journey. That's fine too.
The question is not even, are you going to go in and join hers, or you're on course with yours and she can come and join if she wants?
But what I'm saying to you is I don't know. I don't know enough about what she is doing, and even though it's reviving, on the face of it, I could say, oh yeah, but because I know that Nkrumah, safeguarded, he had that reverence and he did have things in place for the women. Then obviously I can assume that it must be the same thing, but I don't know that. I don't know
you
that
don't know it yet until you meet and chat. Wow.
But anything is possible. I actually believe that anything is possible, and I never underestimate the power of a conversation. So,
right, we're having now.
Exactly.
I'm in awe. I am in total awe of you. I like it. I like it, but you see, I have, as you said, you are. This is your plan. But how you're going to get to that plan is a totally different thing.
That's my vision. That's my vision.
Yeah.
And there are some rocks in place.
There will be rocks and all of that. But my concern also is, in truth, there are serious big business women in Ghana. There are women who would like change in their country. We all want change, and if it's good, why we could all go, because it's the country that we identify with. This is a country. One of the things that someone said to me was, when people say that they're not interested in politics, especially women, and you ask them, do you go to the shops? They say yes. Do you buy onions?
Yeah.
They say yes. Well, buying an onion is a political move. Buying milk, doing this, paying for something, because it depends. If the economy is good, the things are reasonable. Everyone can buy. If the economy is bad, your £1 can't buy anything. So it is true. I mean, everybody needs to get on board, and we have to be thinking about the greater good, basically.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm not stepping out to take anything away from anyone. Like I said, I already see that there are good things that are happening, so it's not coming from a judgmental place.
No,
I'm coming to add my two pence worth or 2 cedis worth, of okay, this is what I'm planning to do. Can you help? How can you help? how can we do this? I have a vision, like I said, but the detail, it's the women that I'm relying on that are going to be filling out the detail. I'm not one. This is not a one person thing. I'm just an image and a voice to speak a message, and then everything else is going to be borne out by women coming together.
This is exciting. This is very exciting. I mean, this is a whole new thing because, you know, I don't think I know anyone who has said, I am going to Ghana to set up a political party and I'm going to do X and Y that you're saying that you're going to do. So that's something. And if you do become president, this is my dining table, and you have been on my dining table. The president was here. People, stick with me. We will meet presidents.
Thank you for having me.
It's such a pleasure to have you. I mean, I could ask you so many questions.
Next time.
Yeah, but we're going to do it again because this one we did it quite hurriedly and all of that.
But you see, even that, like I said, I'm very touched that you said, okay, yeah, let's just do it, because that doesn't matter, like how, where, it's the fact that we're just having the conversation and we're sharing it with the family and people are actually, you know, listening in. Yeah,
and my family members, my friends, and your people, and everyone is listening. So that is great. And people, this is serious. This is not a joke.
No.
We are determined that now Amerley is going to have a party. Yes. You know, your name, even your name is party-like. I
didn't think about
not
that.
The Angela.
The now Amerley. Yeah. So for let me think. For non-Ghanaians, so for where I come from, now Amerley means I'm the firstborn girl in my family. So I have other cousins.
You're a leader.
Born on a Monday as well. Yeah.
So people, you know, I mean, it's been great having you on Kiki's Chat show. I'm very honoured. I like strong women. That's what I do. This show, Kiki's Chat, is really inspirational for women. It's to buoy women up. It's for them. Women go through things, and I always say, it's okay. Let it go. Let it go, because there's so much ahead of us. And when you feel that you are striving for something, it keeps you alive.
Yeah.
It keeps you alive. And there's so much I can tell you, but people, I'm not well today. I have rubbed my... Can you smell?
I can smell the rub, the Vicks. No,
yeah,
rub.
I got caught up in the rain yesterday.
Oh,
and
sorry.
I take a specific bus. And so I was on Waterloo Bridge waiting for the bus. I waited outside in the rain for 25 minutes.
Oh dear.
Until the bus came and I got on. I was soaked. I was like a chicken that is soaked. I don't know anyone. If you come from Ghana, you would have seen a soaked chicken in rain that it's wet and it's shaking and it's cold. That is what happened to me. My hair was wet. It was horrible. Anyway, I came home and we hadn't turned on our winter heating yet. So yesterday was the first day. I had a hot bath. I sat in the bath like a wet chicken until I thawed a little bit. And then we had the heating on. And then I had my hot water bottle on. And then I kind of warmed a little bit. Oh, dear. And then I couldn't even have dinner because I was so frozen. So I had some tea, about 2 cups of tea. And I went to bed. Then I had to wake up this morning, go to work. And then here we are today. So I am still trying to warm myself, and but it's all good.
That alone, just to go home for the sun, like I'm a sun child. We suffer it over here. But seriously, no, thank you. It's been wonderful. It's been an honour to be on and have this conversation, and I'm sure we will have many more. And
we are going to have many more. I think we should have another
Other
discussion.
people.
Yeah, and I can even get some other girls
Okay.
around so that we can have a proper discussion.
Wonderful.
Just to get other people's views
Yeah, that'd be good.
as well. And then I think that, but we'll stay on course on the same subject, but you know, opening it to a bigger audience or a bigger, you know, discussion.
Yeah.
To one or two people, and we'll see how women are thinking. Because as you said, this is the right time. You know, this is the time. Once you've thought of something, you have to put it in motion.
Yes.
And you are in the process of motion. And this is it. It's going to happen. Women also will have a say, and women do well in gathering, mobilizing.
Exactly.
So this is our new Pied Piper. Pied Piper of Ghana. Future president. Okay. So thank you very much for listening. We gotta go now. I may have to feed her or something. So people, thank you.
Thank you for joining.
People.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for joining. Bye bye.
Thank you very much.